Okay, ready. Good morning. Oops. So this week started with a new moon. That was Sunday. And this moon is very special, especially in Vedic astrology. So those of you who don't know the term Vedic comes from the Vedas, which is the body of knowledge and scriptures for most Eastern religions, Eastern philosophy. Yoga philosophy comes from there, Buddhism, Jainism, a bunch of others. So it's considered it marks the Vedic New Year. And it's the year that's coming from Shavari, which means twilight. And so when your vision is slightly impaired, where you can't see quite so clearly, and it's coming into plava, which means flowing, and it marks a spiritual crossroads. And I just want to read you what it says here about it. It's time to disentangle the knots of self-doubt, fear, confusion, or whatever else holds you back from positive change. And it seemed very fitting for what we are all going through, have been going through. So with that idea in mind of allowing the flow and stepping from one side to the other at the crossroads. So come inside, close your eyes, and begin to focus on your breath. As you inhale, think about inhaling new life, prana, your life force. Without our breath, we wouldn't have any, right? And when you exhale, letting go of all those things that get in the way, that self-doubt, that fear, the confusion, everything, let it go. Just get rid of it. So inhale, deepen that inhale, fill up with life. Exhale, let everything go that gets in the way. Continue that at your own pace. Return to your natural breath and open your eyes. So today we're going to start a little differently than we normally do. We're going to start on our backs. So make sure you can see me from where you are. And you're going to just come all the way down on your back. Imagine starting Shavasana. Take a few breaths and then send your arms overhead. And like we do at the end of class, when we do that full body stretch, let's do that right now. So send both, all 10 fingers to the wall behind you and the soles of your feet in the absolute opposite direction to stretch your whole body. And then relax. Do that again. Stretch, 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 and relax. Once more, that's an inhale on the stretch, exhale, let it go. Bring your arms down alongside your body and send your right ear down towards the mat. Come through center and then exhale to the other side. Inhale back to center. Press both your shoulders into the mat. Feel your chest rising. And let it go. Inhale both shoulders into the mat. Exhale, release once more. Inhale and exhale. Send your arms straight up in a T shape. Lift your arms just a little bit away from the floor, and then make circles with your arms. And they can be any size circles that you like. And then the next time your arms are close to the floor, go in, pause first, and then go in the opposite direction. So we're waking up our shoulder joints here. And then bring your arms down alongside your body. Step both feet on the mat. Your knees are pointing to the ceiling. Lift your hips a little bit and send them a little bit towards your heels to lengthen your spine. Send your right leg up to the sky. Lengthen your left leg. Open your arms out again in a T shape. Send your right leg all the way out as far as it can go to the right without your left hip coming up from the mat. So place your left hand on your left hip and let your, because we want to stretch our leg muscles, our hamstrings in particular, and if your hip comes up, you stop stretching. So it doesn't have to go so far. And then lift your leg back up to the sky and push the sole of your feet as if you wanted to really step on that ceiling and release it. Push into up to the ceiling again and release it. One more time. So your whole leg is getting longer and release it. And now you're going to place your right hand on your right hip. Send your right leg across the midline. Not so much, because we want to keep that right hip down, right? So you're stretching your IT band, you're working your adductor muscles, your thigh muscles here, and whatever else you feel, you're working that too. And bring it back to center, bring your foot back down to the mat. Extend your right leg along the mat. Send your left leg up to the sky. Arms are still in a T shape. Place your right hand on your right hip. Inhale your leg all the way out to the side. Exhale and just let it float for a little bit. Keep your hip down. Inhale back to center and just let your breath go. Reach to step on the ceiling and relax. Step on the ceiling and relax. Inhale and relax. Switch your hands, left hand on left hip. And send your left leg a little bit across the center line. And notice where you feel it, where you're tight. That's what we're stretching, and that's a good thing. And then bring your leg back to center and place both your feet flat on the mat. Send both your legs straight up to the sky, bend your knees slightly. And we're going to begin bicycling. Try to keep your knees from splaying out. So imagine there's a line on the ceiling, and with your big toe, you're tracing that line as you bicycle. And then pause and backpedal. And pause. Send your right leg, so your legs are still up, pointing to the sky. Send your right leg behind your left leg in front of your right. So you're crossing them, one in front of the other. And then you're going to open them and bring the other leg on top. And you're going to do that in a continuous motion, like a scissors motion. And then come to center. Place your feet on the mat. Bring your toes to the mat. Lift your right knee into to your chest. Your left toes are still on the mat. And then you're going to switch, going back and forth, touching the mat with your alternate toes. Back and forth. You can stop at any time. Continue to go. Yeah. Such a simple thing, right? Bring both your knees into your chest, hug them, and roll from side to side. Bring your knees into your chest again. You're going to hug them. And you're going to lift your head and shoulders like your nose coming towards your knees. Inhale back down. Inhale, exhale, nose to knees. Inhale back down. Once more. Inhale, exhale, nose to knees. And bring it down. One hand on each knee, separate your knees, send them out to the side. And you're going to make circles with your knees. So you're going to send your knees all the way out to the sides. You're going to send them forward. You're going to bring them back together into your chest. So you're making two separate circles with your knees. Saying good morning to our hip joints. And then bring your knees into your chest, and you're going to go the opposite way. So you'll start by sending your knees forward, out to the side, back into your chest, together, forward, sides, chest, together, and continue that motion. And pause. All right. So your knees are into your chest. Let's open them out wide again. And you're going to leave your knees exactly where they are. They're wide away from each other. Your feet are just kind of hanging out. So you want to send your feet, though, up to the sky. And you're going to reach for the outside of your feet by coming inside your legs or around the outside of your legs, whichever works best for you. And you'll take the outside of your foot. If that's too awkward for you, then take your ankles. Happy baby. So you can open your legs a little wider. And then just play around, like playing around in your crib and roll around from side to side, stretch one leg and then the other. You know, you're in the crib and you're discovering your feet for the first time. Oh, how cool. And then come back to center, right? Bring the soles of your feet together. Wrap your hands around the outside of your feet, interlacing your fingers. Send your knees away from you. So you have these butterfly legs. And if you can't bring your hands around your feet, then take your ankles. Inhale, and on an exhale, lift your head and shoulders and your nose towards your feet. Inhale, back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, relax. Exhale, lift. Inhale, relax. You're going to straighten your right leg, straighten your left leg, big V shape with your legs. Big, big V. And you're going to send your arms inside your legs. You're going to put them onto your inner thighs and let the weight of your arms on your legs open your legs a little wider. Then you're going to send your arms overhead behind you. Inhale, and on an exhale, you lift your head and shoulders, send your arms between your legs, and you're going to reach for the wall opposite you, straight in front of you. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale your arms back down to the mat. Exhale, lift your head, shoulders, send your arms through your legs. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Exhale. And then bring your arms back down to rest behind you. Bring your legs together, reaching up for the sky. Then bring your arms alongside your body. Bring your feet down to the mat. We're going to do a spinal twist here. So we're going to do two variations, and I invite you all to do both. But when we do the second one, which is a bit more challenging, you may choose to come back and do this first version. So your feet are flat on the mat. Your arms are in a T shape. You're going to send your knees over to the right, coming as close to the mat as you can. You're going to send your right elbow into the floor a little bit to lift your right shoulder and shoulder blade and place it back down on the mat, allowing your left shoulder to come closer to the mat, and your gaze is over your left shoulder. Bring your legs through center over to the other side. You're going to do the same thing here by lifting your left shoulder and shoulder blade, placing it back down on the mat, allowing your right shoulder to come flat on the mat. Your gaze is over your right shoulder. Bring both your knees to center. Your arms stay exactly where they are. All right, so you're going to lift your hips just a little and place them to the left, just about an inch or two. That's it, just a little bit over to the left. You're going to bring your knees into your chest. Now, the reason you moved your hips is to keep your spine on a straight line, because you're going to send your knees now toward your right elbow. As close as it can come. It may not come very close, but the goal is to get as close as you can. And you're going to do the same thing by pressing your elbow, your upper arm into the mat, lifting your right shoulder, placing your shoulder blade back down on the mat so that you have both your shoulders closer to the mat. Now you're going to stretch your top leg. You're going to leave it where it is, but you're going to straighten the leg so that your toes come toward your fingers. Maybe you can take your toes in your fingers. So let me say that again. It's your toes coming toward your fingers, not your fingers reaching for your leg. So you may not reach, that's okay. You're just going in that direction. And then the other leg follows, the underneath leg follows. So you're possibly touching all 10 toes. You're gazing over your left shoulder. This is Jatana Padivottanasana. That means the belly turning pose. And you can see why. Bend your knees, bring them back to center. Place your feet down on the mat. Lift your hips through center and a couple of inches to the right. Bring your knees into your chest. Send your knees toward your elbow. Lift your left shoulder to bring your right shoulder closer to the mat. Look over your right shoulder. Bottom leg reaches for fingers. Top leg follows. So your legs are in a very diagonal position. Bend your knees, bring them both back to center. Place your feet flat on the mat and bring your hips to center of your mat. All right, let's take a breath or two here. Just breathe. And your feet are flat on the mat. Now, walk your feet slightly away from your hips so that the hill, your knee hill, is a little flatter. So what we're going to do some sit-ups, but we're going to start with a gentle version. And so again, when we go to the more challenging version, you can do the first version. You do not have to do that one. So lift your head and shoulders. We've been doing a lot of that, right? Slide your forearms back so that your elbows are under your shoulders. Kind of like being, at the beach with your beach towel, watching people pass by. You're going to inhale, and on an exhale, you're going to press into your forearms, into your wrist, into your hand, and push your torso forward. Looking past your knees as much as you can. You're going to slide back on your hands, back on your forearms, and come back, keeping your spine nice and straight like a down dog back. Inhale, exhale, use your hands and your forearms to help send your torso forward toward your knees. Slide back, elbows under shoulders. We're going to do that one more time. You're going to lift your elbows, push into your hands and forearms to come forward, doing a sit-up. So you can continue with these sit-ups, or you can send your arms overhead. So your back is flat on the mat. Keep your knees again in a low L. And the reason for that is that if you have them hard, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get up. So just to follow what I'm saying, because this is important. We're using our abdominal muscles here. And when you inhale, feel them engage. And when you exhale, lift your head and shoulders and arms and reach past your knees with your fingers. Inhale, back down on to the mat. Exhale, engage those abs, lift all the way up. Inhale, back down on the mat. Inhale, stretch those muscles, lift your whole torso up, reaching your arms forward one last time. Arms overhead. Inhale, stretch those muscles. Exhale, come up. Bring your feet close to your hips. Wrap your arms around your legs. Bow your head for a seated child, pose of the child. And just relax a moment. Just breathe. And you're going to look up. You're going to bring your hands to the mat back behind you. You're going to send your knees over to one side and make your way on to your hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Padasana, table pose. Inhale, send your curled spine to the mat, heart looking forward in your dog spine, tailbone reaching up. Exhale, your cat to sky. Inhale. Allow your spine to move in opposite directions. Flexing and waking up those spaces, those discs, those synovial fluid between your vertebrae. And continue at your own pace. Next time you're in your cat spine, send your hips to your heels for a child's pose. Lift your hips, come back to table. Place your forearms down on the mat, elbows under shoulders. And we're going to do our little toy car on its tracks, sliding back and forth. Nice and slowly. And then you're going to pause. And you're going to send one leg back behind you. You're going to come onto the ball of your foot. Your knee, left knee is away from, if that's your left leg that went out first, whichever leg you send out. Your knee is away from the mat. You're going to bring your weight onto that left foot, the ball of that left foot, to send your right leg straight out. You're on the balls of both feet for a forearm plank. Bring both knees down to the mat. Let your legs stretch out behind you to come into Sphinx pose. Your elbows over under your shoulders. And breathe. Send your hands on a diagonal pointing to the corners of your mat. On an inhale, you'll straighten your arms. It's a bit of a deep back bend, like a cobra. This is a straight arm cobra variation. Bring your elbows back down. Bring your forearms parallel. On an inhale, you'll straighten your arms a little bit deeper. Back bend and bring it down. Bring your left fingers to your right elbow. Roll over onto your left side. Place your right hand in front of your ribs for support. And the first thing we're going to do are some side leg lifts. So you're going to lift your leg, it doesn't have to be a lot, and bring it down. Your top leg lifts and comes down again over the bottom. Lift, again, again. One last time and bring it down. All right. So what we're going to do next is a forearm side plank. So there are 3 ways to do that. This just as there are 3 ways to do a straight arm plank, right? So the first way is to take your top leg and step it outside your hips. And that is for support. That is a supported side plank. And then you're going to lift your hips away from the mat. Send your right arm up to the sky. You're on the outside edge of your left leg. And then bring it back down. So that is one variation. Second variation, again, this is the same thing we do when we're on a straight arm. Place your top leg forward of your bottom leg. So you have your right foot in front of your back foot. So that's the top leg in front of the bottom leg. And you're going to, you can use your right hand for balance and for support as you lift your hips away from the mat. Send your right arm up to the sky. Lift your hips as much as is comfortable. And then bring it back down. And then finally, all right, stacking your legs. Inhale, your hips lift from the mat, your arms reaches for the sky. And bring it back down. Come back up. Come around to the other side. And shake out your left hand, or whichever hand you were just using. Just shake it out. Shake it out because we were on our elbow for a while. So rotate your arm, bend your elbow, and shake your hand. All right. So we're going to come on to our right side. Your forearm, your right forearm is parallel with the edge of your mat, your fingers facing away from you, and you will come up to which we're going to do it 3 times like we just did on the other side, but you're going to decide which one of those 3 variations you want to use. All right? All right, so here we go. Lift, extend, bring it down. Lift, bring it down. Once more, lift, and let's hold that for a moment or 2. And bring it down. Do the same thing, come to sit, do the same thing with your arm here, shake it out, shake both arms out, put a lot of weight on your elbows, hug yourself, say thank you to your arms for what you just put them through, and then release it, all right? So it's probably time to come up to stand, right? Now, because of talking about the new moon, which is why we are doing a half moon pose today. And we'll do the pose first, and then we'll put it into a flow as usual, right? Everybody good? You have a chair or a block handy. I'm going to bring this on the other side, because my right side is there. Okay. So typically, we go into into half moon from a warrior 2. So bring your legs to warrior 2, and the toes that are pointed with the bent knee are on the side where your chair is. If you're using a chair, you may not. All right. I like to use a block, so we're going to do that first. Right? And you can do all of these along with me or watch. All right. So I have my block in my hand. I'm going to try to keep my hips. Remember last week when we did triangle and we stacked our hips? You need to do the same thing in half moon. So take your block, bring it forward of your right foot, spring off your left leg, and begin to stack one hip on top of the other. And then you can extend your arm. And bring it down. Good. Another way. What? The audio is not working. I don't know what to do here. You can hear? You can't hear? Yes. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's do the, we'll do both of these on the other side as well. So come back to your warrior 2. Right? You're going to reach with your forearm, and we did a lot of forearm work, right? So you're ready. So you're going to spring off your back leg, bring your forearm to the chair, and use that as support. So your forearm is reaching across the seat of your chair. And you can lift your leg a little higher too with this variation probably. And your hips are stacked, same thing. Stack those hips. And bring it down. All right. Let's do that on the other side. Right, so your left leg is forward now. You're going to use a block, and you can also not use the block and bring your hand down to the mat, but I'm not going to do that variation today for the sake of time. So you're going to place your block on the floor in front of your left foot. Spring off your back leg. Stack those hips. And open up to your half moon. And then bring it down. Okay. Okay, so if you use the chair, you'll have it handy for you for this flow that we're going to do, and I'll give you enough time between right and left side to move your chair. Right? I'm going to start with block. Okay. Come to your mountain pose. Send your shoulders forward, up, back, down. Your arms fall, come into that beautiful mountain. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, send your right leg back behind you, but only as far as a warrior one leg. So you're going to place the sole of your right foot flat on the mat. You're going to make sure your hips are square. You're going to send your arms alongside your hips and bring your warrior one up to life. You're going to bring your arms back behind you. You're not going to interlace your fingers. You're just going to send them back behind you and open your heart. You're going to bring your arms straight out in a T shape. Inhale, exhale, step your back leg into warrior two. Inhale, exhale, reach for your block or your chair. Come down on to spring your back leg up. And then bring it back down. Back to warrior two. Step back to warrior one. Send your back leg forward, fold over, Uttanasana. Fly out and up and down the center line. Okay. Inhale, exhale. Oops, I said I would give you time to move your chair. So let's pause for a moment. Okay, if you need to. Okay. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, step your left leg back. Warrior one. Swivel in to warrior two. For the sake of time, I'm shortening this. Reach for your block. Step off your back leg for your Ardha Chandrasana. Stack those hips. And then bring it down, fold over. Foot to foot, sorry. Foot to foot. Fly out and up and down to center line. Okay. Just stand to feel in mountain. Just breathe. Come on to the ball of your right foot. Put your weight on to your left foot. Lift your right knee. Open it out to the side. Come to tree. Grow your tree. You can have your toes on the mat, or on your calf, or up on your thigh. Lift your right knee, send it forward. Step it back to warrior one. Spring off your back foot. Lift your right leg, your right knee. Open it out to the side, come back into your tree, bring your prayer down to your heart and release. All right, let's do that on the other side. Left leg, you're going to come into your tree. If it's just your heel against your ankle, you know to do that. Right. Grow your tree. Knee comes in front of you, and then step it back to warrior one. You're going to come forward from warrior one to come back, lifting that leg, and coming back into your tree, your hands to your heart, and release it. That was just a little bonus add-on flow, okay? Because I was reading clock incorrectly before. All right. So let's come down to the mat again. You know, where we spent most of this class, something different. And we're going to simply do two things on your back here, and that's it. In the first one, your arms alongside your body, your knees in line with your hips. If you have a block, put it between your thighs and squeeze it. And you're going to lift your hips to come into a bridge. Send your sternum toward your chin. Lift your hips as high as you can. You might want to interlace your fingers underneath your hips, and you'll lift them a little higher. Release your arms and melt back down onto the mat. Take the block if you have one, or a blanket. Lift your hips. Place it underneath your sacrum. The long flat side of the block, if you're using a block, then send one leg up the other. for an inversion. You can come out of this at any time, or to stay here just a tad longer to get the full benefit of this leg up the wall, stepping everybody in their pose. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat. Lift your hips if you have anything underneath them. Bring your hips back down to the mat and make your way into Shavasana. Feel your whole back body sinking in to gravity, allowing it. Make sure your arms are rotated so that your hands are up towards the sky in a giving and receiving position. Om Namah Shivaya. I surrender to transformation and welcome the changes that will lead me to who I am. Take a deep breath, beginning to reawaken your body or your head from side to side. Make gentle movements with your hands and your feet. Send your arms overhead, your feet away from you. The way we started class, we will end it big, long, full body stretch. And then bring your knees into your chest, hug them and roll from side to side. And in honor of the week of the new moon, release your legs, roll over onto your sun side, your right side, to expose the left side, the moon side, in your fetal position. And then when you are ready, make your way up to sit. And if you are staying for meditation, please get yourself ready into meditation. If you are leaving, I wish you a glorious day. All right, close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. Remember, you can always come back to your breath if you are distracted during this meditation. Take another breath, a little deeper this time, and find yourself in your mind's eye. Find yourself outdoors in a grassy area near a mountainside. It's a beautiful day. The sun is bright. Take a look around and notice what's to your right, what's to your left, trees maybe, rock, boulders. What's there in your picture? What's growing? What little creatures might be racing around, rabbits or whatever, may come into your view. And then you'll notice that the sun is beginning to make its way down towards dusk. It's at just the right angle for the rays of the sun to illuminate what looks like an entrance to a cave. And your curiosity compels you to walk to the entrance of the cave. And you notice that that sunlight is illuminating the inside of the cave as well. And it seems unusually bright too. And so you are utterly amazed by the cave paintings that you see on one of the walls. And it's large, but the cave paintings seem to be divided into 4 panels on 4 separate areas on the rock wall, smooth rock wall. And to see the whole thing, you're standing a bit away from it, and you notice that going across all of the 4 murals is a line that that is not a line, it's an area that is painted in with a light color. And you see birds, what look like birds flying. And in the middle, between the second and third panel, is what looks like the shape of a sun, the painting of the sun, right in the middle. Perhaps this is daytime. And then you notice that right above is another area straight across in a dark paint with what looks like stars. And phases of the moon, all the phases of the moon in that top piece. How amazing this is. And then you look over to the left in the first panel, and you can make it out clearly enough to see that it looks like there are warriors in this panel, that they have their bowstring drawn, and that arrows are depicted flying through the air. And then you come a little closer, and a little closer, and you notice there are many, many, many warriors, and you'll notice that there are piles of bodies, that it's total chaos. It looks like this must be the depiction of a horrible war. It looks just disconcerting, very unpleasant. It disturbs you. You step away from it. And then you look at the next panel, and the next one is made up of rings, circles. It is if there are these smaller rings interlinked, that make up a larger circle. And it looks like there are things you can't really make out from a distance, so you walk up more closely, and you see amazing detail in each of the circles of men, women, children, peoples of all sizes and shapes, with their hands clasped, making the smaller circles. And they're interlinked to create this bigger circle. And it is so beautiful. And that sun that is up above seems as if it's shining on this circle of life. What an amazing contrast to what you just saw. And you walk over to the next panel, and another beautiful work of art. It's a landscape. You see fields that look like wheat fields or cornfields. You see bushels of vegetables and fruits. You see grains in some of the other baskets. You see animals of all kinds from everywhere, big, tall, and in between. You see birds. You see trees. It is an amazing composite of earth. How beautiful. And then you notice on the right in the shadows, someone seems to be standing there, and he steps out of the shadow, and you see it's a man with a headband around his long hair, a feather hanging behind. You notice he has a vest over his shirt. His vest is decorated, and it has fringe, and it makes you think he looks like a shaman. Who could he be? He turns and smiles, a warm, glowing smile that just captivates you. And he offers his guidance. and you gladly accept. And he walks you over to the first panel again, and he said, all of these panels represent all of us in this world, what's in our hearts. And that first one is when we allow fear and anger and greed and hatred to shadow and overcome the love that we were born into. And this is the result. And then the next panel is when we rediscover the love that fills us up, the love that exudes from our beings and links us to every other human on this earth, every creature, everywhere. It is life and love. And then the next panel is the result of that love. It is the abundance that results from that inextricable love, chain of love. You're a little breathless, you have chills. But you ask him, why then is the fourth panel empty? There's no drawing on it, but the day and the night above it is still over it. What does that represent? And he says, that is yours to fill in. That is your future, your destiny. That is what you want this world, your life to be. And he points to all of these tools that you can use to draw in and create that panel for yourself. And you begin in the next few minutes, you will spend it filling in your destiny, your future, the world as you wish it to be. Take a deep breath, let it go. Bring your hands to your heart, bow your head. Feel your heartbeat. And as you lift your head, allow your eyes to open. Big smile. And I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for being with me here today.